Hello friends, and welcome to the joy of model painting with Glow Ross. So let me start by saying I won't be here with you on Friday because I've got work commitments. I'm away at a squirrel retreat for the entire weekend. Unfortunate, but apparently they've all gone nuts. So let me just say, I'm running this because Thor thought it'd be a good idea for me to video some of my work so he could give me some pointers, and I thought I could pass on these tips to you. And just remember, like at the point of your inception, there's no such thing as a mistake, it's just a happy accident. So before we start, I'll go through some of the things you're going to need. Okay, so obviously we're going to need colours. So I've got them all on a palette, which I'll show you in a moment, but we'll just run through them quickly. We've got some black, important for undercoat. We've got some blue for blue. We've got some yak urine yellow, which is a really good colour. And especially for Widdrum, who'll probably be watching this, I've got some Widdrum white. Okay, so let me just show you what these look like on our palette, which I've just dropped over here. Like a fucking idiot. No, always well prepared. So here we have the palette. We've got Nazgob red. We've got glowworm green. I suspect we'll be seeing a little bit of that. We've got Thor blue, which I showed you earlier, and of course Widdrum white. And last, but by no means least, Land Rover translucent, because even when you can't see him, you know he's there doing good work. Okay, so hopefully you've made a note of that. You'll also need some equipment. So while we're doing the model painting, I'm going to keep it simple because I know some of you guys aren't as experienced as me. So we're going to use a brush and we're going to use a roller. Okay, this is an improvised roller because they cost an arm and a leg. I've also got this roller which is covered with a Land Rover translucent, but it's very difficult to see. Okay, but trust me, it is there. You'll understand when you see the finished article. So let's do that. You're also going to need some tools. Now, models are notoriously difficult, and as I'm starting from scratch, yeah, I picked a nice easy one. So in case we have any electrical work to do, we're going to have this. You've got these for when we take the model off the sprue, although some of them can be difficult, so I have got a slightly more heavy duty pair just in case. Okay, let's not be having any happy accidents with those. Right, for those really tough models, these are for cleaning off mould lines. Okay, some of those can be absolute buggers to get off, so we could try this. If that doesn't work, we'll resort to the following. We've got this for helping us assemble the model. We've got this for helping us disassemble the model. This, by the way, is a jemmy. It's not a crowbar. Crowbar is much bigger and is used by several members of my family to get holidays on Her Majesty's pleasure. So there you go. Every day's a school day. And just in case they're particularly stubborn models, I've got this. Okay, now, during the course of the... God, this whole week's hot. During the course of this, I'm going to be building and painting a model. I don't expect you guys to be able to reproduce my results straight away, but just remember, 30 or 40 years from now, you might be as crap as I was when I first started. Okay, so just bear that in mind. There's something for you to work towards. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a single model, this one here. Yeah, there we go. Nice little resin model, as you can see from a recent Kickstarter. I won't name which one because I'm not being paid to advertise them. Okay, and we're going to build it. So the first thing I need to do is take it out the bag. Okay, we'll save that bag for later in case we need to do we'll just save the bag for later. Okay, right. So what we need to do now is clean off the mould lines. So I take this and right, that appears that the mould lines are gone. I just give it a clip. Right, that's fine. Now, I'm going to use an advanced technique here. I don't expect you all to pick it up straight away, but this is called drilling and pinning. So what you need for this is a drill and some wire, and you're going to attach different parts of the model, yeah, using the wire. So you drill a wee hole, pop the wire in, drill a wee hole in the other bit, put them together like a loving couple. And then they'll hold when you keep laying your models down because you're crap at the game. Okay, so let me just, so you get the two parts. I'm afraid I can't show you this, but you get the two parts. You've got, okay, they're just about, they're not quite fitting. Let me just, hang on. Nah, that's better, that's better. Right, so I've offered them up, technical term, and they're all fitting nicely now. So what we need to do is move them apart, and now we'll drill each surface and put them together. So let me just grab my drill. This again is precision kit. I don't expect you all to own kit like this. Here we go. Now always remember, measure once, drill twice. Okay, I think that's got it. Now we need to take some wire. So I'm just using this wire because it's just a wire. So I'll just snip this end. And I'll snip that end. And then we'll put that in there. And then just in case, so some of them don't fit. Believe it or not, that GW and other model makers actually don't give two hoots about whether they fit nicely or not. So you may have some small gaps. So I suggest some stuff, either Milliput, green stuff, or my favourite, polyfiller. Also what my ex-wife used to use for foundation, okay? So I've got loads of it lying around. She bought a job lot of a container ship. So we'll just use some of that, okay? And we'll get it in. And if you've got it right, you should end up with something looking a little bit like this. There we go, see? Now, as I'm sure you can see, you can't even see the join lines. How good is that? Okay, so now we're going to start painting. Now, you've seen the colours. I'll get my thing. Right, so now you need specialist equipment for painting. Right, so we've got this. It's a brush, so we beat the bejesus out of it, and then we'll start off with some Nascob red. Obviously we've undercoated this beforehand, okay? Now we clean the brush off. Don't do that at home. Okay, and we'll have some Widram white. There's a bit of Widram white on there. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, make sure we get all the oh, hang on a bit, fiddly bit. Move to the roller. Bit of Thor blue. A bit of Thor blue on there. There we go. Nice bit of Thor blue for you. Okay, glowworm green. Oh, we'll have lots of glowworm green on there. And glowworm green on there. So a lot of people have been asking me questions about my woodland friends. So I've got a little woodland friend here I'd like to introduce to you. He's been with me for a long, long time. I don't think he shall ever be released back into the wild. It is, of course, the special friend. Oh, he doesn't like being filmed, I'm afraid, kids. Okay, so let's just calm him for a moment. Unfortunately, he'll never be released back into the wild as he's a sock puppet. But don't tell him that. Doesn't matter what you say. He's got no ears. So let's just see if he's got any questions for us today. Okay, so he lip reads. Right, okay, the special guest says, we've received a letter from the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleading Squad saying, what's your top tip, Glow Ross, for painting? And my top tip is obviously when you ladies are about to beat the bejesus out of it. Okay, we've also had a question from Thor, who says, why do you do this? And the answer is to cheer people up, mate. Okay, because it's not all serious. We've had a question from Nascob, which is, do I still really exist, or am I a figment of your imagination? Well, mate, if my imagination was that good, it wouldn't be you that I'm imagining. And, of course, we've had a question from Land Rover, which is, who can I help next? And that's the main question. I think it's who we can help next. So, let's just carry on and do a bit more painting before we get all starry-eyed. So again, with a palette, which you can see, no expense spent. Okay, so I think we're in the final stages now. Hang on. Okay, there's the special guest off. He's off to hunt for rhinos in Wiltshire, which explains why it's so small, because he's never managed to get some. So we'll just finish off with a nice thing of Land Rover Translucent. There we go, there we go. And now we'll see the finished model. Now I'm hoping you're not going to be too disappointed with this, guys. I have done it quite quickly, okay? So it may not be up to my usual standard, but here's the finished model. I'm sure it's unrecognisable from what we started with. So let's have a look. So that's what we started with. Obviously not that one. Clearly not that one. Yeah. And that's what we made. Again, these are just flashbacks. They're not actually the models put on one side. Okay, the one thing I do need to do before I show you, and I'm glad I remembered this because it wouldn't have been the finished article and that would have been very rude of me, is just to remind you all that you need to seal it with spray. Okay, with an aerosol spray. Now I tend to use this. Okay, I tend to use this because it's authorised and approved by Land Rover for use on your models and on your butt cracks at tournaments, guys. Okay, so we'll just... Okay, don't do this in a built-up area, otherwise you'll get hair like mine. Okay, so it's all finished. Now, like I say, hopefully you're not too upset with the results. So, there we have the finished model, as you can see. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that beautiful? Now, I would sign it, but Glow Mama's not here, so I can't actually do any joined-up writing. But I think that's it for Glow Ross, other than to say, enjoy yourselves, guys. Live your lives, yeah? And don't forget, there are always people like me out there prepared to look stupid to give you a smile every once in a while. Big love, Glow Ross out.